What's up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, in Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. Mr. Knows My Cadence.
Well, I'll tell you the truth about that. I thought that was through Spinsters. I thought that we were recording that on Haley's thing, and then you brought in the intro, and you were like, welcome to Stay Hot, everybody. I'm like, why would he call it Stay Hot if we're on Spinsters? But you were right, and I was wrong.
Well, I didn't even say that.
That's why I went like this in that video.
Well, I wasn't even saying that to be like, welcome to Stay Hot. I'm just normally used to introing, and she was like, oh, I want to hear you intro.
Yes.
So I was just giving her my intro. I thought it was going to live on Spinsters too. I can't lie.
Right.
But yes, today we're going to be talking about the NFC East. We're going to talk about some NBA stuff with Donovan Mitchell, and I think we're going to hit James Wiseman a little bit. But before we get into that, we're also going to touch on the Zach Wilson news that everyone's been talking about, and really the Dax Milne news.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
That's the real take.
You tend to hyperfixate on certain players, De'Aaron Fox being the biggest one, but one, like, especially at the beginning of last year, you'd always talk about Dax Milne, and he was like a 7th round pick at the bottom of Washington's depth chart. I'm like, there is no way that guy is ever going to be relevant again, Blaiden. But yet, despite it all, he is.
Hey, all of my players tend to have some sort of relevancy. Jalen Hurts is, a starting quarterback in the NFL. De'Aaron Fox scammed his fans with NFTs.
That did happen.
Dax Milne stole Zach Wilson's girlfriend.
Dax Milne is the most incredible one. Of all the players, of course, it's Dax Milne.
It's great. But how are you guys doing today? We didn't talk about that.
Well, I think people are probably wondering where we are. We're in a hotel in Los Angeles right now. And we are here because I think we can say this, that we're covering the MLB All-Star game. And we are here to do that. We've got that opportunity, which is a little surprising because, as our listeners probably know,
we don't know baseball.
It is literally a running bit that I can name like 4 MLB players.
Look, but we're here, and we're here to check out like what baseball has to offer, I suppose, and
many great things.
I suppose. So
I can name a new MLB player. Brendan Rodgers for the Colorado Rockies hit 3 home runs on June 1st.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. It was a really long time ago.
But hey, we're here to do that, and that'll be a fun opportunity, and make sure to check that out when it drops.
For sure. Yeah. And to wrap up the episode, we're going to do another Rank It. We're doing dog breeds today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. And make sure you guys join the chalkboard to give us more segments to do Rank It's, question of the week, all that good stuff. Link will be in the description of this video and on the link in the bio of all our socials. But let's start with Dax Milne and Zach Wilson. Everyone keeps saying Zach Wilson's got that dog in him, but we all know who really has that dog in him. It's Dax Milne.
Right. If Zach Wilson's the GOAT, why did Dax Milne steal his girlfriend?
Steal his girlfriend.
All right. It's come on. Not the other way around here, guys. Let's not get it twisted, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I don't have super, super strong opinions about the dating life of Dax Milne, unfortunately.
You don't? This is wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty crazy. Maybe it would have been more interesting if they had been like teammates still at the time. But don't they play each other at some point?
The Jets, do they play Washington?
I think they do. I feel like I saw somewhere that they might.
It would be better if Dax Milne played like defensive end, right? And couldn't or Zach Wilson played.
They can't really like
they can't actually. What are they going to do?
But if like they're playing each other and Dax Milne is like the game-winning touchdown catch or something,
he's not going to. Is the thing. He's not going to see the field.
Yeah, but if Dax Milne has like a 200-yard game when they play, dude,
that's what I'm saying.
The narratives would fly. I don't know. I think it's kind of messed up of Zach Wilson to sleep with his mom's best friend, if that's true. If one of you guys told me that you did that, I would not react like, bro, awesome. That's so, I wish no, like you cheated on your girlfriend with your mom. Like that's, I don't know.
Oh, wait, while they were dating?
Yes.
I didn't know that was the story.
Yes. Yeah. That is
yeah, no, that's so
Look,
fucked
the
up.
The City Boys trend on TikTok, the City Boys sound on TikTok has set us so far back.
Yeah, that trend loves this.
And who's in that one other dude? I can't think of his name right now. There's a guy that's like super hyper masculine.
Andrew Tate?
Yes. Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done. Look, yeah. I'm talking to you, listener. You're not a Mad Men character. You're not a city boy. You're just a normal person trying to do your best in this world. And as you're trying to be a good person, you've got to be a good son and a good significant other. That's what you should aspire to be. And here on Stay Hot, we're not gonna sit here. Maybe we're lame for this, but true greatness is not
Kindness.
sleeping with your
we need like an Andrew Tate who does like same cadence, same delivery, but is like
an antithesis.
Be kind.
Yes.
An Andrew Tate
Random acts of kindness.
Random acts of kindness. Be faithful to your girlfriend. You at home. You'll have a better life because of it, truly.
I saw a video of him today where it was like, someone called me, he was like, I'm 21 years old and all my friends think I'm fat. Do you think I'm fat? And he like lifted up his shirt and he didn't have like a 6-pack. And he says like, bro, when I was 21, I could like cut the earth in half. I'm like, what?
We're not like that here at Stay Hot. Here at Stay Hot Industries, you can call us soy as much as you want. I don't care. You can call us that. What Zach Wilson did is a little messed up.
When we were in
Dax Milne
Vegas, we got oat milk for our cereal. So a little soy for us.
That's a little soy. I don't love oat milk. Actually.
I love oat milk.
It wasn't good. You should just get regular milk.
Oat milk is fine.
It's good in coffee.
It's good. I agree. I get oat milk in my coffee, but for cereal, it's like too sweet.
Way too sweet. But anyway.
Well, that's because we got the vanilla.
I digress.
I couldn't find the original. We only got vanilla. That's why it was
all right.
sweet.
Okay.
Do you guys want to talk about some basketball?
Yes. Donovan Mitchell is going somewhere.
Cavs, I fear.
This is one of those things. You're going to see a lot of teams reported that they're interested, but I think there's probably a limited number of players. I guess the one thing, like the way people are going into this looking at it is with the Rudy Gobert stuff, right? And they're like, wow, you got to beat that offer and you got to beat it significantly. And I don't think that's going to be in the form of like more draft picks. It's going to be in the best player the deal is centered around is going to be better, right? Because there's just not that many teams that can offer 5+ draft picks.
Yeah. I mean, who was the best player offered in the go? It was Beverly?
Beverly or
Beasley. But Beasley and Beverly are not even really like pieces that you would build around. Beasley maybe a little bit, but they're not like, oh, this is like the big young like guy to help start our rebuild.
It's like, our bench is all right now. Like our bench is high level or maybe like a low end starter.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, on top of that, again, there's how many teams can possibly beat like what they get 4 or 5 first round draft picks? Not many. You can get to the pick swaps or whatever, but most teams are going to be able to offer 4 at most. And you wouldn't want to keep yourself out of that, out of so many like potential trade partners. So I don't think that you're going to see like a deal significantly more than Gobert. And I also don't think I would give up, even if we're talking about player and pick wise, I don't think I'd give up significantly more than what the Jazz gave up or the Timberwolves gave up for Gobert.
Well, what teams do you think can like at least make a comparable, a competent offer?
The Knicks are one. The Heat are in the conversation and probably the leaders right now. I saw the video of Dwayne Wade at Summer League. Someone said, "Are you bringing in Donovan? Are you going to bring him to the Heat?" And Dwayne Wade said, "Yeah."
Right.
So we'll see if there's a world where Mitchell says like, "I will not go anywhere," but the Heat, I think that's not out of the realm of possibility, but
I would say it's unlikely. I don't know. I would say it's less likely.
I think the Knicks would truly. I think when you look at all the picks that they have, and you look at like RJ Barrett, who they could maybe give up, or
I don't
know if they will, but there are the good young players they could have. And if you were to give up like a Barrett, and it's like Mitchell and Brunson and Randall, like. I don't know. I think that the Knicks are very desperate to be, even like if they're
just in the playoffs,
and like a relevant, good team in New York. I think they're willing to sacrifice a lot to be just a brand again, like a playoff brand again. They're not in title contention. They're not competing for the exact same thing. They're just competing to be the biggest show in New York.
People forget sometimes that like, these professional sports teams, like they have owners that are like their number one goal is probably to make a lot of money. So like if, as a New York team, if you can do that and just bring in a guy that'll
be the biggest show in New York.
I mean, you think about like, that's why the Browns brought in Manziel.
I think, I think if there's going to be a team that's going to just go like full ridiculous offer with all the picks, the Knicks are one of them. There's a couple other teams like the Pelicans could potentially offer a bunch of picks, or I guess OKC, but I don't think they're going to do that. But if the Knicks just don't like straight up outbid everybody pick wise, and I don't think they'd give up RJ Barrett.
I think that's I don't know. I don't know if they would or not.
I don't think they'd give up RJ Barrett and all the picks. I think what they would do is they would say, we have so many more picks than everybody else, or like the other big team, which is Miami. We have so many more picks that we can give you like Emmanuel Quickly or like Jericho Sims. Like we have some other like nice, or Quentin Grimes. We have some other nice young players you can have, but you can't have, if it's RJ Barrett and then like 7 picks, that's like, dude, yeah, you're losing that trade pretty badly.
Yeah.
So I think if Mitchell, maybe if Mitchell doesn't say no to the Knicks, and the Knicks really want him as bad as you think they do, there's a pretty good shot he ends up there, which is frustrating because I think Miami is the best fit for him.
Miami is so close to being a finals winning team, but they just need a little bit more juice to get there. And whether that be KD, whether that be Donovan Mitchell. And I think Donovan Mitchell's an underrated player right now. I think in the general NBA community, I mean, we saw a poll that some Sixers fans ran. It was like Tyrese Maxey or Donovan Mitchell.
And it was
like 50-50.
Granted, that was like a 76ers account.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I understand. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell is underrated right now. And I think if the Heat were to give up Tyler Hero and picks and whatever, and they keep Bam and Jimmy Butler, that would be the move to make. And it's that or Kevin Durant or something, and they're just not quite there. Tyler Hero is not quite at that level where you feel good about him being the player built, or like having a big trade built around like that for someone of that caliber, like Mitchell or KD.
I think that there is a world that maybe this is how I predict this to get resolved, where all of these trades, the Ayton trade, the KD trade, the Mitchell trade, a lot of them don't fit quite right. Like it's not like anything makes perfect sense, especially the KD trade and the packages for him, where it just seems to be like a little bit too little or a little bit too much, it seems. I wonder if this all resolves itself like in just a massive like 3 or 4 team deal, and it all connects somehow. I almost wonder if that's like how this offseason ends, just because there's so many trades that are so close to happening. I wonder if they could all mix around like that, involving like the Suns and the Pacers and the Jazz and the Nets and
anything for the Suns to get Kevin Durant. Huh?
I think that the Donovan Mitchell stuff has a decent chance to drag out. If you're Danny Ainge and you don't get an offer that you like with Kevin Durant, if you don't get an offer you don't like, you kind of, it's 34 years old. Like the clock is kind of on you. You don't have your pick. So if you're bad, you're just bad. But with the Jazz, I'm pretty sure they have their pick this year. I don't think they have it next year, but they have it this year. Donovan Mitchell's young on a long contract. I'm willing to wait a year.
Does Donovan have any leverage in this like trade deal at all?
I mean, he's got as much like leverage as well. It's tough to even know if he's really requested a trade or if, it's just the Jazz shopping him. It's been kind of 50-50. I'm guessing that he would not be willing to stick around for what the Jazz are right now, which is not a super competitive team. But like every player, no matter how long of a contract they're on, does have leverage. But he doesn't have a great amount of it. No, not a particular. It's not like he's an expiring or he has like a no trade clause or something like that. So
or he's like LeBron James caliber, where it's like you absolutely like you're a finals contender with me. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I think Knicks would probably be where my money is for him to
just because of their
assets. Just because of their assets. And I just think like the Knicks mentality right now is just, we should just be, again, like I've said, the biggest show in New York. And I think it doesn't matter. Will this move win them a finals? I don't think it would, but I just do not think that's the Knicks' like it is their ultimate goal, but it's not quite their ultimate goal like it is for maybe some other teams. I think that there's some other stuff at play with like the Knicks and just how relevant they want to be.
Right. No, and I think if it's not the Knicks spending all those picks, somebody else is going to have to offer like a serious player to build around. And maybe, you know what? I'd say this. I think I like that better for Toronto than Kevin Durant. I think a Donovan Mitchell trade would fit their timeline more. And I guess it depends on whether Mitchell actually wants to go there. But maybe they could be in on that if they're in on Kevin Durant or something like that.
We had the whole conversation on an NBA Live once where I thought Donovan Mitchell was a Canadian, and he's just not. And I have no idea where I got that information from. This is useless information
I have no
for
idea
you guys.
Where you got that from.
I was just like, oh yeah, he's Canadian, isn't he? I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I was like 100. It's Mandela effect. Does anyone else out there think Donovan Mitchell is Canadian? Is this Mandela effect? Or
I have no idea.
Just wrong about things. And Mandela effect.
No, yeah. Anytime I make a mistake, it's like, bro, that's Mandela effect.
What was the one thing you said was a Mandela effect today? We were at lunch, and
you said something about that. Yeah,
I can't.
Did I pull that card? Did I already pull that card today?
You pulled this card twice today.
No, I didn't do that. You guys are misremembering that. That was another universe where that happened.
God damn it! This is. When we were at Summer League, and we didn't really get to see a lot of the teams that we wanted to see, but rumors are that James Wiseman, good.
I don't have a ton to say about James. I don't know if you, but
I didn't. We talked about him in brief, like on a past show, and I mean, he's looked promising, and that's all we've got to say. You made the point that you think that he's better than people think he could be.
He's one of those players who certainly cannot be as bad as people think he is. People think that he has no chance to contribute to the Warriors, and like. He's hardly played. He's played like 40 games, hasn't he?
He has a chance to be like a top 5 lottery pick from that draft.
Yeah,
like he has got a good chance. Player. Like, is he going to be better than LaMelo and Anthony Edwards? No, he's not.
Right.
But like that is what people think of him. And we already had this conversation.
Right. Would a solid big help the Warriors a lot?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And he can be that. So I don't know. I thought he looked. He outclassed people in Summer League, and I know it's just Summer League, but that's what you wanted to see. Yeah. If he stays healthy, which is a big if.
Moody was the one who was kind of the big. There's nothing to suggest that like Moody can't come in and also be a pretty good.
This is what makes
contender.
The Warriors so scary this year is that Wiseman could come in and be really good. I think Kuminga will be very good. I think Moody will be very good, and that's 2 really strong wings.
The Warriors. What do we keep talking about? How do you sustain greatness? You draft well.
They draft very well.
That's it.
They draft.
And it's easy to draft well when you have that culture. Like it is legitimately easier to, in any job, if you join a good company, you will learn to be a better employee. If you join a bad company, you're not going to learn. And it's just the same in anything. So like once you kind of get this momentum, like in an organization, like it carries over for a long time. Well, and that's why even teams that win the finals are usually not like, I don't know. Like it takes a long time.
It's like it's very clear that like everyone like trusts everyone else to do their job.
Right.
Right. Like you let the GM do his job. You let the coach do his job. You let all the players, like everyone's just in cohesion.
Right.
It's just that, you're getting the best version of all the guys that are playing. It's like Gary Payton has bounced around for 10 different teams, but all of a sudden he's a player who we were like worried about whether or not he was going to be able to play in the finals earlier. And, now he got a big contract, or like you're getting the best version of Andrew Wiggins right now. And that applies for like the rookies who haven't really played anywhere else, but you're probably going to get the best version, the best outcome that they could have for their careers too.
Right.
Well, if you guys don't have anything else on that, I think it's about high time we talk about the next team in our NFL division prediction, or the next division in our NFL predictions, the NFC East. And do we want to start at the bottom or the top?
The bottom is the New York Giants, ladies and gentlemen. I think that even with Brian Daboll.
Thank you, Mr.
The
Producer
Giants.
Man.
All right, our producer's a Giants fan. The Giants, Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones is going to be a prolific quarterback head coach duo. He's going to. Last year was the best season of Daniel. I can't do a New York accent. I can't. Look,
I thought you were just getting like choked up.
Wait, no. I'm trying to see if I can just seamlessly slip into that, but I I can't do it. No, this is just like a weird Italian. That's bad.
Bad perfect.
It's perfect. Okay. Thank you, Alex.
I'm walking here.
I'm walking. Hey, Daniel Dimes. Hey, Daniel Dimes. He's going to have the best season of his career. I'm telling you. Look, we got that. I don't know how I feel about the Kadarius Toney fella who cares more about rapping than he does about playing for the Giants. Can you believe it? Anyway, this is bad.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants are going to be super strong either.
No.
I like their draft though. But
yeah,
having a good draft translating into being amazing the next year when you're a bad team isn't really
not high hopes. So their line is 7.5 wins. We taking the under on that?
8 wins for the Giants? I don't know. Look, I'll say this. I like their edge rushing duo with Azeez Ojulari, who has a real chance to have a better career than Kayvon. Like, Azeez Ojulari was, I think, the rookie sack leader last year. And he's got some serious bend to him. Like, just like dipping the shoulder and winning around the edge. He is like really good at that. He was good at that at Georgia as well. I think people are kind of underrating, just like they kind of have another young edge that's not Kayvon Thibodeau that was projected to be a first round pick until injuries last year. And then they were able to get him in the second round. Like, I think that defensive line could actually end up being kind of scary with those two off the edge. I think that could be a really underrated edge rushing duo. The secondary, like Adoree Jackson is not that bad. He's all right. He played pretty well last year for them. Obviously, Bradbury's gone, so the depth like at corner is like extremely suspicious. Xavier McKinney was kind of Trayvon Diggsy, where like he had a bunch of picks, but he wasn't like truly like maybe a world-beating safety. But
he's not a world beater, but I think he has enough range that like he can make plays. And that's really
he's
all
a nice player as well.
I
I think the Giants are on the right track, I would say. Neal.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like Neal and Thomas, like, okay, that's solid. And it's like they've got a good edge rushing duo. That's some good stuff. But it's still, they're still recovering from having Dave Gettleman as their general manager. That's what it's, you can't fix it in 1 year, I'm afraid.
Taking Saquon Barkley second overall. Like
Saquon, look, I watched some Saquon here recently, and I mean, he's still got a little bit left in the tank, but I've kind of, like, behind that offensive line was really bad last year. It was really bad. I think that he'll be better than he was, but I've kind of lost hope on Saquon being what he was his rookie year after all these injuries that he's had.
Yeah,
I love Toney. I think Toney still has a ton of potential if he can just kind of like get his act together and stay on the field a little bit. Like, I truly believe that he's the most dangerous man to tackle, like, or the most difficult man to tackle in the entire league with the ball in his hands. Like, he's just ungodly shifty. I think that I would bet the over on Daniel Jones rushing yards with Brian Daboll. He's always kind of designed a lot of like, and Daniel Jones is like fast as shit. It's weird. Like,
is there a line
Daniel
on Daniel
Jones
Jones
is so
season?
fast.
I don't know if there's a line on Daniel Jones season rushing yards, but if you can get it, bet the over. That's all I got to say.
That's not a bad take. That's not a bad take.
So I like Daboll. I thought it was one of the better coaching hires. I think Daniel Jones, he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, most likely, but he was showing a little bit of promise at the beginning of last year where you're like, and then he like got hit so hard he couldn't walk, and then he was out like for the rest of the season, like with some other stuff after that. So I don't know. They could maybe be a surprising, like, I'm not as down on them as I am like the Bears. What's the schedule looking like, BLAIDEN?
Okay. Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's winnable.
Not impossible.
It's not winnable. Carolina.
That's a loss.
Get out of here. Hey, get out of here. You know.
Dallas, Chicago, Green Bay, Baltimore. Those four, they might win only one of that. Jacksonville, Seattle, Houston, Detroit, Dallas.
That's an easy stretch of four right
Washington,
there. That's another.
Philly, Washington, Minnesota, Indy, Philly.
It's not the hardest schedule in the world. And here's the thing about the NFC East. 10 wins, says Alex, our Giants fan producer. 10. The thing about the NFC East is it's like a different winner every year. And it's been a minute since they've won it. So
they're due.
They're due.
They're due.
You can't discount it.
It's 350 and a half rushing yards for Daniel Jones.
That is legit.
I'm taking that.
Dude, I am betting on 350. I will bet my...
Not again. I'll
bet my life that he hits the over on the rushing yards there.
No.
And you can come kill me if I'm wrong.
I've got like 6
wins. I think that I just don't know if they're going to win 8 games.
The thing is that it's like you can say it's an easy stretch of games with the Jaguars, the Seahawks, the Texans, the Lions. All of them look at the Giants and be like, oh, that's a winnable game as well. Right. So I think that you can see, like, I can see the world where, like, yeah, maybe they really are like super like legit next year, and they do kind of beat up on some weak teams in their schedule. But
like if Jacksonville,
I look at them playing the Lions or the Seahawks or Jacksonville, and I'm like, I could see the other team winning those. Like that, those are going to be decent games, and I don't see them head and shoulders above those guys.
We're making the assumption that they're going to be worse than Washington here. If we're going to say, let's start from worst to top.
Well, you meant from a wins, projected wins.
They have the same as Washington.
Okay. Washington's an interesting one. Yeah. I thought they had one of the worst drafts, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, their draft.
What did they do all offseason? Let's be like...
Pull up their depth chart.
Who was their second round pick?
It was it the running back from Bama?
No, that was their third round pick. I'm not a big Brian Robinson fan.
Their second round pick, they picked a defensive tackle they had Phildarian Mathis. He may have been their second round pick.
Okay. Yes. I got there. So, Carson Wentz.
Yes.
Right. Which we know we get like 7 or 8 good Carson Wentz games.
Here's the thing about Wentz. People look at his stats last year and be like, well, it wasn't that bad. Frank, like the Colts head coach, did everything in his power to like make absolutely sure that Wentz didn't have to do anything difficult and never had to put the team on his back. Yep. They were lucky that Jonathan Taylor had the year that Jonathan Taylor had. And that is, in my opinion, what made Wentz look half decent. I do not trust Wentz to bring home the goods in terms of like, oh, we need to throw it 30 times a game and have him win this game. Yeah. Sorry, I do not think Wentz is doing that. I don't care what his stats last year stay. I think that he's still kind of a mess. And we've got 2 teams in a row now, the Eagles and the Colts. I mean, I've never seen an owner or a higher up just kick someone out the door like they did. I mean, they were seething at Wentz, so they were really, really mad at him. And I think that like says a little bit more than even the stats do about Wentz.
I mean, Jalen Hurts coming like as a rookie was not throwing the ball very well. So for them to pick him over Carson, I think says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, two teams just were sick of him by the end. I don't know. I think that that offense looks. But
Terry McLaurin is it like if we're looking at like a guy that's going to make like rough decisions, force bad passes, and like put a ball outside of someone's catch radius, who better than to go get that than Terry McLaurin?
He did lead the league in contested catches last year, which is so weird because he's not that big, and I don't think that was his game at all at Ohio State, like a contested catch guy, right?
It's amazing how much he's improved since. I mean, he was great at Ohio State, but he was like the third guy on that team.
He wasn't this good.
He was like going to be undrafted, and then he slowly just worked his way up during the draft process to being a third round.
Also, watch like a Terry McLaurin highlight or just his highlights, and you will see all of his contested catches. He catches them like this, like with his chest. It's so weird. He doesn't go up and attack it with his hands. It just like falls in his chest, and he gets it like every single damn time. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah,
that's not slander to him.
No, it's not.
It's just funny. Like
it's
he just like
okay.
He like literally catches like that.
It's like a common criticism is like, oh, if he body catches,
he's a body catcher. He's like a serial body catcher.
It's harder to convert like a lot of catches as a body catcher. So like for him to do that, it's that's where it's like impressive.
But anyway, I'm not a big Dotson fan. I just think that he got bullied with tight coverage. I truly do. I think that he never again, go watch a Jahan Dotson like Penn State highlight reel. A compilation of all of his best plays, and tell me if you see a broken tackle there. You won't. He ran a little bit slower than you thought. It was still pretty fast, but a little bit slower than people wanted at his weight. I just do not think that he is like going to be a special player.
Again, like just like McLaurin, or maybe not just like McLaurin, but like Dotson's like 5'11", and he catches like everything that's outside of his catch radius is his.
He's got great hands.
I mean, this dude, I don't remember who it was against, where like he came out of this dig and the pass was like way above his head and he just like reaches up, snags. I'm like, Oh my God. I thought he was 6'3" on tape.
Yeah,
like
he has a big catch radius for his size, but to me, I just don't think he's going to, like, if Ramsey pressed him, I don't think that he would be going anywhere.
Yeah.
Or like, not even Ramsey. If anyone, any NFL corner pressed him, I really did not like, I don't think that he's going to be winning deep down the field. I don't think he's got quite the like Deshaun Jackson brand of speed. I don't think that he's got like that level of juice to him for someone his size. So I think he's going to be like a Jamison Crowder, like slot type of guy. I really think that he's a slot.
But that's like a fine thing for him to be.
Not
Who
for
else
a
do they have at
16th
receiver?
overall pick.
Maybe not.
Dax Milne.
Who else do they have at receiver?
It's McLaurin, Dodson, and Curtis Samuels, who PFF houses there.
Curtis Samuel. I always
Curtis
forget
Samuel,
about him.
Ohio State legend.
You know probably more about Curtis Samuel than as a Ohio State and Panthers fan than I do.
He's pretty good. He's not a bad. He's a little gadgety, I fear.
Yes.
He's not an outside receiver. But now that he's not on the depth chart to be that guy, I mean, if you want to get creative with him, he, lined up as like a halfback a lot for Ohio State. I think he's really good in open field. I just do think he's a little small and he's a little injury prone. But I remember being upset the Panthers didn't bring him back.
Do we think this is what?
I think it's actually a pretty average receiving core. I think the receivers.
It's a very mid off. I think it's just kind of a fine, like everything that the offensive line is pretty good. The quarterback, I would say,
it could be a fun offense.
It's like mid to me. It's like not bad. It's not great. I'm projecting the offense to end like as the like in the 15 to 20 range.
That's fine.
In terms of offense.
So is their defense good enough, you think?
To carry them.
Well, last year, their cornerback room was a disaster, and they were getting torched through the air over and over and over again. And what additions did they make to the secondary?
What do their cornerbacks look like?
They have, what is it? I can't remember which Fuller this is. Kendall Fuller.
They have Kendall. Do they still have William Jackson on the other side?
William Jackson.
He was
Let me
so bad
Let me see their
year.
nickel package. And then who is this guy?
Is it St. Juiced?
St. Juiced. Yep.
Same as last year.
I need my glasses.
William Jackson is going to have to be the guy they paid for because he was like garbage. Sorry, William, but you did not play up to the standard that you were paid last year. Like he was really bad. The safeties, Cam Curl is a nice player, but like
Bobby McCain,
like their single high safety was like play was like not great. Their high safety play, but like the cornerbacks were just getting like torched over and over again, and there were blown coverages. And Jack Del Rio's still their defensive coordinator. No, I believe that he is since he made the January 6th comments and got fined $100,000. And then like Roger Goodell had to answer for it in front of like the Senate.
The defensive line's pretty good.
Yeah, this is looking like a Ron Rivera defense if I've ever seen one.
What would that be?
It'd be
Chase Young.
The one time that the Panthers were like really, really good is when they had Josh Norman. And then they immediately let him walk. And that's because Ron Rivera defenses typically have corners who get pretty cooked. I think.
They were like, you're too good. We like our defenses to be like getting torched and you're not.
But they were, and they didn't want to pay him a big contract.
They just don't value corners like that.
I never felt like they did enough. We had bad corners. And we had like I'm not going to get into the Panthers drafting strategies, but I felt the Panthers never had super, super great corners outside of that 1 year.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the same thing that the Washington did. I really thought like adding a corner would be their top priority this year, but they added, a guy who I think is going to be like a decent slot receiver. So I don't know. I think like it's mid and mid on both sides of the ball here. I think like Chase Young coming back, but here's the thing about Chase Young. I just do not think that he is going to be like an elite pass rusher. I do not think like his rookie year, he got, I thought, extremely overrated by the general population for someone who had pretty low pressure.
Clowney 2.0.
Yeah, a little bit like Jadeveon Clowney, where it's like, I really like what he does against the run game. He is a big, thick, like can set the edge pretty damn well. But in terms of like bend and like creativity with his hands and all that, to be like a Khalil Mack type, or the guy who's like billed to be like on par with the Bosa brothers coming out of Ohio State. Like, I don't think he's going to be that. And like Sweat is pretty good. They've got a bunch of good players, and Jonathan Allen is really nice. It's nice. It's very strong.
Like collectively, it's good.
It's very strong. It doesn't like, if you were to, you could say it's going to be one of the best in the league if you project like Chase Young to have kind of like a bounce back year. All I'm saying is like, I don't project that. I don't project him to come in and be like a 15 sack guy.
The only way I could see like him getting, maybe not 15, but like I could see like a double digit sack season just based on like, there's so many guys to block.
Yeah.
That eventually he's just going to get some free rushes.
Yeah.
It's just bound to happen.
We'll see.
Like,
I'm just a little bit low on
no,
him.
I got it. But like, and then they do have, they have Jamin Davis,
who I really liked coming out of school. And then he just like, they moved him all around his rookie year. And like, they moved him from like Sam to Will to Mike, and they had him all doing all kinds of things. And then now we'll see if he kind of has a settled position, but he looked kind of lost out there, and he didn't look super great. So yeah. I don't know if I had some really bad Jamin Davis takes coming out of Kentucky. He's good in coverage, but he did look a little bit lost out there. We'll see about the linebackers.
They sound like a fairly similar team to last year,
yes,
but with Carson Wentz at quarterback instead of
Taylor Heineke.
I really think Heineke starting like a full year is going to be looked back on as like kind of crazy. I think that's pretty surprising. We were like having this
conversation one night in Vegas about like what is the worst decision to start a quarterback?
Who is the least inspiring starting quarterback of like the last decade or so?
And it has to be like the team's game plan going into the season. It can't be like, oh, well, this guy got hurt and we had to play our backup the whole year. And I said it was Kyle Allen. And
for the Panthers?
And that one, I don't think, because he started most of the season and it wasn't very inspiring. So
Heineke is up there though as like an XFL like player.
No,
but here's the thing though.
I said Brandon Whedon. Is the worst decision.
Well, you could say a lot of different like young, like not Brandon Whedon, my fault. You could say a lot of like rookie guys who were unproven and then like didn't work out, but you can at least understand the team's point. It's like, okay, well, this is our first round draft pick. We're going to start him.
Right.
The thing about Heineke is he's kind of Wentzy. He is kind of Wentzy. He's not the talent that Wentz is, like not even close in terms of arm strength, but in terms of like too many times he'll run around and just like throw some shit up to McLaurin. Like that's something Wentz, like Washington fans, that is not going to look that different. You're not going from you're not going from Heineke to someone who like seamlessly executes like the designed offense here, right? You're going with like a slightly more powerful like Taylor Heineke. And to me, it's like the difference between Wentz and Heineke is not like absolutely night and day. It's better, but it's not like, I don't know.
Well, we need to make a prediction. What is their schedule?
7.5 is.
I mean, I can see it a little bit. It's like, hey, you're bringing in 2 new receivers and you got a new quarterback, so the passing game should be better.
I think I'm not putting my faith in this basket. Sadly, I'm saying under 7.5 for the Washington Commanders.
It's a good vibe.
If we're talking about championship culture, like with the Warriors, this is also like the opposite of that. So I'm just not putting my money on this like con artist team. Sadly.
All right. It's a very similar schedule to the Giants.
Ron Rivera is a really nice guy. He does not deserve to be the like figurehead of the Washington Commanders right now.
Their schedule is very similar to the Giants.
It's so funny that like their owner Dan Snyder has just been on his yacht because he's like been subpoenaed by the U.S. government, and he's like, "Well, if I just live in the ocean, you can't bring me in." And so he's just been like out on his yacht being like, "You can't subpoena me." Like I'm just not betting on the team whose owner is like living like a pirate right now.
This team could be, okay. It is always a safe bet to just assume a team that is dysfunctional through and through will be bad. Yes. Jacksonville last year was never going to be good.
You can bet on dysfunction. You can bet on dysfunction to be dysfunctional. That's where I
think you look at their schedule. They do have some winnable games on there, but it's the same thing as the Giants, where it's like they would need to win like all of their kind of good like matchups.
Right.
And I don't think they will. I think 7 wins would be like a pretty solid outcome looking at that team, and that wouldn't even get them there. So yeah, I'd agree. I'll go under.
Yeah. That's 2 unders. Giants and Commanders both under. We're sorry. Sorry, Alex. I know. We still love you. It's okay. The next on this list is apparently the Eagles at 8.5.
But you're going to pick them to be the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah. I think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Theo, you think they're going to be like the 3 or the 4 seed, which would still put them over.
I'll let you take this if your take is they're the best team in the NFC. I like the Eagles in the way they've constructed their roster, but I'll let you.
The Eagles to me are almost elite through and through. They're at least very good at pretty much everywhere on the field. They're coming off a season in which they had the best rushing attack in football. That's not really going anywhere. Their O-line's still, one of the best in the league. I would say top 3. They added AJ Brown to a receiving core that I thought was not that bad. Like Devontae Smith is going to be, he had a good rookie season, so you can only assume he's probably going to get a little bit better. Dallas Goedert was a great tight end for them last year.
Yeah.
And then there's I can't remember his name. He's super fast. Quez Watkins. So if he's your 4th option receiving,
Greg Ward is not horrible.
Yeah,
Greg Ward.
So their receiving or adding AJ Brown to that receiving core, they're going to be super nice. It's going to give Jalen Hurts a lot of opportunity to really prove. I'm giving my Eagles red. Get this right. No. Jalen Hurts is going to have an opportunity to really thrive in this offense. And this is obviously projecting that he does elevate into the guy that I think he is. And then defensively, I think their whole front 4,
Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox,
Hargrave, and then Hassan Reddick.
I totally forgot they had Jordan Davis until right now.
Yeah.
And then who do they have off the edge? Reddick. They've got
Hassan Reddick. That's a very nice pick.
Hassan Reddick, Derek Barnett,
yes.
Kaiser White. They picked him up from the Chargers. I thought he was one of the better players on the Chargers.
Their front 7 is
picked
really
up James Bradbury, Darius Slay. Their safety play is pretty ass, I'll say that. And their depth at the cornerback room is
but
not that
you're
good.
9 out of 11.
But I'm high on the Eagles as well, Blaiden. I think if Jalen Hurts is what you think Jalen Hurts will be, yeah, they could be the best team in the NFC.
Undefeated, dude.
Personally, I am not the number 1 Jalen Hurts fan. I think that he's all right. But I do think every year there's some quarterbacks that play action and the running game and working off that really kind of elevates. I think he was a little bit of that quarterback last year. I just don't. And then it really showed in that playoff game when they're running the Bucks front 7 just shut it down.
Yeah. And
Jalen Hurts just couldn't do anything after that. So it's
but he always gets better. So it's okay.
He's gotten better every year of his life. So that's good. I agree with you, Blade. I'm high on the Eagles. I think they'll win this division. I do.
Yes.
From top to bottom, I think the team is pretty stacked. I'm high on them, but I don't have them being the overall number 1 seed.
That's
but
fair. That's
8.5. If it's really 8.5,
I can check that.
Are you sure? Because
that's what's in our rundown.
I might bet my life for a second time in one podcast.
I agree. I like the Eagles a lot. It's not like a team that's going to beat people up. Now, if you've got this great offensive line, this great running game, and now AJ Brown added to that, and you got Jordan Davis added to that. I know that's on defense, but I feel pretty strongly about them. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's 8.5.
Yeah, I would take the over on that pretty easily. He has gotten consistently better, but the thing about that is that's coming from a place of his freshman year or whenever his first year starting at Alabama, there was nowhere to go but up. He was awful.
He was literally a running back. I mean, that's what they describe. They had to kick him out of the weight room because he just lifted too much.
Yeah. So he's, I think that he's in a really good spot to win. He's in a really good spot to succeed. It's I don't know if any other quarterback is in a better position than him right now.
Yeah.
I guess if you wanted to be negative, you could say Lane Johnson's got some injuries and is getting up there in age, and Jason Kelsey, he didn't retire, did he? Maybe you could say we're overrating the offensive line if you were an Eagles hater and saying Miles Sanders is their running back 1. They're not going to repeat that running performance that they had last year.
Well, they have so many running backs. We talk about I think the Browns have the best running back room.
The Browns do. I'll stop you right there. They do.
But the Eagles have, I think, a very deep.
Who is their second running back?
It's
Boston Scott.
It would be Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, and then I can't remember who the 4th guy is.
The Browns is deeper than that.
That's fair.
Like I'm just.
But I'm a Browns fan. Of course, I can name the Browns 4th and 5th running back.
Packers too. Shout out the Packers. They have a pretty deep running back room as well. But anyway, I digress. I do like the Eagles running game, but I could say maybe we're like.
I mean, shit. If you want to say Jalen Hurts is like the second running option.
Yeah, no, he is though. Yeah. But he's a great running back and having a modal. He's a great runner. He's a great running back. He is a great rushing threat, and can do a lot for a rushing offense. So he really is kind of their like. Almost their primary rushing threat last year, but
I mean, he was fantastic. I think he might have been PFF's highest graded rusher.
He may have been. He was really good at it.
He was really good. But yeah, 8.5 easy. Like I would easily take the over on that. Actually, I'll take one out of your book, Theo. I will bet my life.
All right. The Stay Up podcast is in peril.
If the Eagles have less than 8.5 wins, it is just Matt.
My boys, Dorian Finney-Smith and Huel Jinkley
I'm going to lose you guys to an 8-win Eagles season and like 340 rushing yards from Daniel Jones.
Tough. You're gonna have to.
So the last one is the Cowboys and I'm looking at it 10.5. It's a little far for me.
The Cowboys still have a good team. Like, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, Gallup.
So I feel like a lot of people are considerably lower on them this year than last year.
Their O-line isn't as good.
Yeah.
That's probably the number one thing.
They had I'm sure every Cowboys fan is frustrated with the offseason that they had and just kind of letting a bunch of guys go and not really bringing anybody in. But overall, I mean, last year there were times where like all the units on this team are like pretty high level. And that whether that be quarterback, offensive line, front seven, secondary, skill position talent, like all pretty good for them last year. And we were like, that could really make them dangerous. Right. And Dan Quinn is a really good defensive coordinator. Kellen Moore, is kind of a little like the offensive coaching staff of Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy can be a little bit hit or miss sometimes. But overall, I feel pretty like Amari Cooper leaving is not great.
They still have very good receivers.
Yeah. But I feel like their skill position talent is still good. And I feel like
Zeke and Tony Pollard,
all their coaching, and then all other aspects of their team is like pretty solid. So yeah, I think that they could win this. Like them and the Eagles to me are on a pretty even plane.
Yeah. I think that at 10.5,
I can pull up the schedule for you. We'll see.
That's a lot. That's right on that line. They did a good job with that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be.
I'll say over. I'll say they'll win 11. The Eagles will win 11, and it'll be a tiebreaker that determines the division. Something like that. Their
schedule should, I'm assuming, look pretty similar to Washington's.
That would be my guess. I mean, teams in divisions that usually play similar teams. This schedule is so graphically designed. It's like
they got Tampa, Bengals, Giants, Commanders, Rams, Eagles, Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings, Giants, Colts, Texans, Jaguars, Eagles, Titans, Commanders.
That back half is pretty favorable.
I'll say they're properly rated by Vegas, and if I had to bet one, I would say maybe the over, but I don't feel good about it.
I'll say the same. I'll say under though. I think they get 10.
Okay.
But they do still have. I really do still like their receivers. I like Gallup a lot.
They brought back their tight end Dalton Schultz, and he was really nice last year.
Both Eagles and Giants have good tight ends. Dalton Schultz is good. I like him a lot.
What do you think the Cowboy over under for you?
Over under. I'm gonna lean with you, Theo. Hesitant over again. I think the Eagles are gonna be the 1 seed. I'm thinking 13 wins, 12, 13 wins. So Dallas 11 wins. I think is fair. So they're still gonna be a good team. I'm not even going to hold it to, and they could win this division very well. It's not even out of this world, but yeah, over 10.5. I think it's possible. I'll take it. So, okay. We have to do the rank it, but before we do that, I just want to thank everyone for joining the chalkboard because I know that you all did, right? I don't even have to ask you to do it.
My offer is too tempting for anybody to not join the chalkboard.
Here's what I'll ask. If you guys could put in the comments what you've been because the second you gave that challenge, I was like, what would people?
What is the craziest thing you would ask Theo to do?
What would you guys ask?
Don't encourage them to do the craziest things.
I'm just encouraging them to blow up our comment section.
You got to think about something that is funny but like Theo will also do. Because like he's not, you can't be like, go walk into traffic. He's not going to do
not going to do that.
But if so, commented
unless
if you've got anything
Daniel
more to
Jones
say
gets
at the
under
chalkboard.
350 rushing yards, then I might.
But that won't happen. So don't worry.
Yeah. But before we do our dog breed rankings this week, just want to remind everyone to go join the chalkboard chat. You know, we've been super excited about it. You know, you can submit the question of the week to read on the podcast. You can submit rank it ideas for us. And, you know, it's just a great place to talk to us. You know, to get, you know, our vibes on a game that's going on, or if you have a bet that you want to place, you can ask Theo if he would bet his life on it. And if he would, then it's probably a safe bet.
You can at us. You can say like at Theo and ask something. And I every time I see that message, I respond to it. So
I try and check it as frequently as I can. It's just a great line of communication from us to you guys. So we really do encourage, you know, you guys being a part of that so we can help grow this community together. And, you know, it has a bunch of cool features. You know, you can, you know, check live box scores kind of like the ESPN app and talk, you know, like I said, talk with us about games as they're happening in real time. And I think the coolest feature is like the live bet tracking. So like no matter what, like, you know, operator you use to place bets, you can like plug that in to Chalkboard and track it live and track other people's bets live and see what they're placing and see what we're placing. And if you want to, you know,
fade us, if you want to bet against us, you can
bet against us. If you want to bet the Daniel Jones under on rushing,
if you want to bet the under on rushing,
go for it. You can do that.
Fade us.
You can do that directly in the Chalkboard app. So we love Chalkboard. You guys, we know you guys will too. So make sure you click the link in the description of this video and in the bio of all of our socials. But dog breeds, we're ranking dog breeds today. Theo, you say you have strong opinions about dog breeds.
I watch the Westminster Dog Show all the time. I love watching the dog show and forming opinions about dog breeds. I'll say this. I've got two dogs. I've got Pepper, who is a Cardigan Welsh Corgi, and I've got Hazel, who is a Golden Retriever.
Okay.
So those two might be in my top breeds. But if I could have any dog that isn't those, I think my top 5 would be Bloodhound, number 1.
That's a good one.
I love those guys. I love Basset Hounds as well. This doesn't look like a hound, but it has hound in the name. The Otter Hound is high up on my list. I would say those are 3 that I really enjoy. I'd say Saint Bernard is also up there.
Okay.
And then I would put maybe, I like big dogs. I'd put Borzoi number 5. I think those are the goofiest looking things. They look like noodle alien dogs, and they make me smile and laugh every time I see them. I follow the hashtag Borzoi. Alex has no idea what our producer is like literally looking them up. Look up a Borzoi. Just look up funny Borzoi pictures, and you're either going to be like, that's the ugliest dog I've ever seen, or you'll understand why I find them so charming. So Saint Bernard, Borzoi, Bloodhound, Basset Hound, Otter Hound. Otter Hound is number 5. That's all I'll say there.
I also have 2 dogs. Mine are Biscuit, which is just like, he's a beagle, like a mix of some kind. And then there's Butter, which is a mix of a Maltese and a Yorkie.
Oh.
So
sorry, Maltese and Yorkie owners out there. Maltese is actually one of the better toy dogs, I think.
But like tiny, I think those like tiny fluffy dogs, because like when his hair grows out, he's like really soft and it's kind of cute. But the bark is piercing.
Yes.
It is so loud. But other than that, he's a sweetheart and he's adorable. I love black labs. I would say that's probably my favorite. I grew up with one black lab, and then when we moved, we got a different black lab. So I've had 2 black labs in my life. I love black labs.
That's a solid. You can't go wrong with a good old lab. Yeah, I enjoy labs.
Black lab, goated. I don't know if I have like 5 that I love. Like you might. I do think like Great Danes are kind of cool.
Oh, Great Dane! I'm changing Otter Hound with Great Dane. You are so right about Great Danes.
Great Danes are cool.
I'm changing that.
I don't know. I have a list of just German Shepherd, I think would be another one. I think I would say
That's
Black Lab, Great Dane, German Shepherd.
The one dog I had was a Beagle mix.
W.
So Beagles are my favorite. Bloodhounds are pretty great too. Any of the dogs with like big floppy ears that are like kind of shorter are really funny. Those are great dogs. I like Great Danes as well. I like Corgis pretty well. I like a good. Obviously, like labs are good. My family in South Carolina has had like a lot of black labs, so I'd say that one's pretty good too.
Are there any dog breeds you don't like?
Here's the thing. I don't know the names of all. I feel like
that's like a tough question.
There's some, I don't know. I'm just saying, are there any where you're like, that's disgusting?
I don't think.
Imagine someone like owned that breed of dog, and we're just like, yo, bro, your dog sucks.
Look, if you own one of those little white dogs with crust around the eyes,
wait, hold on,
which a lot of people do. It's just not for me.
Is it this one?
It's a lot of different stuff. It's not just one breed. There's just a lot of people who own like. I'm not the world's biggest Chihuahua fan. Everybody in Phoenix owns a Chihuahua, and look, they're just not for me. They're like kind of mean, and they're like not the world's like most adorable dogs to me. Like a Chihuahua is not like a Saint Bernard versus a Chihuahua. Like one is awe-inspiring, and one is just like. My uncle and aunt have a Chihuahua, and I only see him I don't only see him, but I saw him on Christmas, and I just called it the Christmas rat. I have no idea what its actual name is, since I only refer to it as the Christmas rat.
This dude goes there for Christmas, like, bro, your dog is trash.
It's so small that I'm like, I'll like hold it and be like, you're so ugly. You're so ugly. So I love it in that way, but...
I can pick up butter with one hand.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm not a big Chihuahua fan.
Okay, Matt, you know that Biscuit like doesn't like anybody. Like that's like common. Anytime someone walks in the house, they're like, Biscuit is barking and he is like showing his teeth. Like he's aggressive, but he likes you. And I think I know why. Because he knows that you're a Beagle Mix guy.
That's gotta be it.
Because
has to be it.
He knows. It's just he's go to with the
that
sauce.
Means a lot to me, honestly. That dog
likes you because you're like the only person he likes.
We've got one friend that dog is really mean to. It's like a proximity thing too. So if like he's standing in the same room, but he's like all the way on the other side, nothing. And then as he like gets closer, the dog starts growling louder and louder. I also like French bulldogs. I think they're funny.
I think they're one of the more overrated dog breeds that exist.
Okay.
I don't even know.
It's like, how am I supposed to argue against that? No, dude, because
real bulldog, like
start listing off the stats.
English bulldogs are so much better. Like the traditional, like Georgia mascot bulldog.
Those are pretty great too. I like both.
I don't know why I don't. I can't even like give you a reason why I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know how we're gonna have like this Skip Bayless like Shannon Sharp back and forth. French bull.
Yeah, French. The big Georgia bulldog, like that is a good dog breed.
That's a good
I'll
dog.
give you that.
Yeah, I don't know what the dog breed that the Browns is.
I don't know either.
That's a good question.
I can look it up. I'll look it up right now.
Look, French Bulldogs are set to be the dog of the 2020s. The dog of the 2010s, I think, was like a doodle. Maybe I would say that is like maybe the most trendy, popular dog. Golden Retrievers have been in the past. Labs. I think like decades can be defined by dogs, and the 2020s is going to be a French Bulldog. It's so popular, and I just don't see the hype with them. I think they're just like discount normal bulldogs.
Swagger, the beloved 145-pound bull mastiff.
Oh, mastiffs are cool.
Yeah.
So, and then there's Swagger Jr., of course, now.
We talked about this before, but I had no idea the dogs had like a Browns mascot. The Browns had a dog mascot.
Yeah,
but
he has like his own house and he runs out on the field. It's cool, but yes, dog breeds on Stay Hot. Catch us next time for more dog breeds. I think it's the first time we've actually had like a dedicated dog segment.
Well, for as much as you talk about the dog pound, or the Browns.
I don't know why we would do.
I know we're not a dog podcast, so it's not surprising.
But we talk about music. We talk about music a lot.
Just rap.
No, this podcast is going to be 4 hours long if I can make it now. Thank you all for watching. As always, tons of content coming away on all platforms. We will be back Actually, we'll
talking
be back,
about baseballs pretty soon. Listen to the podcast.
That'll be this weekend. That'll be this weekend. It'll be exciting stuff. But yeah, as always, from Corn Boy, Bird Boy, and Lemon Boy. I had lemonade today, by the way. We'll catch you on the flippity flop.